Look, 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 look. Press clutch pedal and start button. Oh my god, it's never said that before. It doesn't say vehicle not in park anymore. That's at least one step. We got one step closer. We are minutes away.
One, same connector, so it's the same connector. 2, 31, 32, 33, 3. Hold that thought.
Hello, I'm Jensen. What's going on, guys? So we are back at Overkill Performance for episode 25, I think, of building a manual Hellcat Charger. I think it's either 25 or 26. But anyway, thank you guys for staying tuned in and watching. And I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, me. Anyway, let's get right to the video. So we have the master back at it again. What's up, brother?
What's going on, guys?
How we doing?
Pretty good. So basically on last video, right, now that we shout out to my boy Keith from New Jersey.
Yeah, huge shout out to him, and huge shout out to my guy here, because without the two of them, this would have never got done, because there's a whole lot of stuff that I'll have him explain, because he knows a lot more than I do, obviously. That's why he's here. But there's a lot of stuff that him and Keith were figuring out for hours and hours and hours. That's why this update video is taking a little bit, because they've been behind the scenes pretty much studying every single wire and the entire wiring schematics from the Challenger and the Charger. So what do you got for him, my guy?
All right, so again, BCM, the Charger, Challenger, they look exactly the same.
Yep.
But inside, when you take these clips off, circuit boards change, right? So I keep, I don't really look at comments and shit like that. My son does, so he's like, hey, look, this guy said this and this guy said that.
Yeah, there's people talking about we could have did this with HP tuners and stuff. No. And for everyone saying that they've reprogrammed BCMs and they've done this before, shut up. Just shut up, because I know you have not. If you have, show me the proof and then I'll believe you.
On the previous video, I showed the TCM, right, transmission control module, and the ESM, the electronic shift module, which are in automatic transmission vehicles, right? So Keith went ahead and reconfigured the BCM, telling it basically the BCM is a gateway module that talks between the PCM and the radio frequency, right?
So those were all lit up red, like error codes before.
Right. So basically this BCM, what it is pretty much when Keith goes in there, right, and the software he uses is CDA, right? CDA is a software where it's kind of like a micropod. There's 3 stages: Y-Advisor, micropod, and CDA, which the engineers use, right?
Yeah.
And they pretty much go in there and they tell it what it is. Automatic transmission, click no. Manual transmission, click. Yeah, they pretty much code it to manual. So you could see that Keith did a great job, because now we don't have a TCM or ESM. It's grayed out, right? Normally when it's grayed out, it means that the module is not there anymore. It doesn't exist. So as soon as I reconnect, I went into the PCM data and it's telling me it's looking for a clutch input. And I just went in there as soon as you got here to see, as soon as I pressed in the clutch, it's not showing it changing for pressed or not pressed. So now what I got to do is I need to go to make sure that our pins are correct in the PCM and that our wiring to the clutch cable or the clutch interlock sensor are in the right pins. Then once we get that, then I just need to see, the PCM needs to see that the clutch is being pressed now that we don't have a TCM and a ESM. So that's what we're gonna do as soon as I get this password from my guy.
So right now we just gotta figure out we just gotta check each pin that we repinned over at City Alignment, or City Performance rather. So we gotta recheck that work, because right now it's not seeing that the clutch is being engaged, so that's why it won't start. The reverse issue is a different issue, and we'll figure that out after, but we're just trying to get this car started. If we get the car started, that's a huge weight off my shoulders and their shoulders. Like I said, they've been putting in tons and tons of work behind the scenes, studying and doing. He sent me a picture that looked like damn calculus or something. I was like, dude, that's why I dropped out of school, because this is too much. But huge shout out to these guys. Him and Keith, real talk, like saviors on this build, saviors. But anyway, we're gonna check some of these pins, make sure they're going to the right connectors and stuff, and then go from there. But hopefully today's video will start this bitch up. Stay tuned. He's checking the pins going to the ECU. There's two connectors, C1 and C2.
I need to make sure we're on the correct pin.
Yeah, there's two pins that one goes to the clutch switch, one goes to the radio frequency hub. So he's checking to make sure that they went to the correct connector. And look,
yeah,
he came with some homework.
Well, yeah, just in case I would, my computer would drop off. So this is our PCM. We need to make sure we're on C1 connector on pin 17. Okay. This pin goes directly from the PCM all the way back to our radio frequency. So that's what we need to check. And then I also need to check to see if pin 39 is on pin 39. It's the same connector. So it's the same connector, just pin 17 and pin 39. And this one goes directly from our PCM all the way to our clutch. So we need to make sure that these are okay. And then we'll check our radio frequency. And this is underneath the pedal, this is in the back of the car, and this is in the front of the car. So
you guys see how I would have never got this car done? And huge shout out to Kevin for coming on Saturday and opening up Overkill. For the people at home, which is C1 and which is C2?
Right, correct. Yeah, you tell us. Is it the top one or is it the bottom one?
I mean, just based off, numbers, I would feel like C1's the top one, C2's the bottom one, yeah?
Correct.
Yeah. What are they color-wise?
So basically, they're pretty much both are black connectors. One's like a little bit of tan. The other one, see how it's like whitish and the other one's like tan? Yeah, so, and then if you see, there's 96 pins, right? Is this pin 1 or is this pin 1? Like, where's pin 96? You see how it's different?
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of people, there's a wire insertion side and there's the pin side, right? Mm-hmm. So you can look at this connector both different ways. But if you take the cap off, it's wired or it's numbered in the back, right? This would be pin 24. This would be pin 96 right here.
Now we figured out that one pin is in the wrong location. The information that I got for wiring the clutch switch, the dude used all Challenger modules, so he obviously wired them to the Challenger modules. Since we're using all Charger modules, the pins have to go in different locations, and it's a little bit difficult, huh?
Yeah. So basically what we got going on, this is the back side of the connector. There's 96 pins. Pin 1 location is down here, and they go by 24s, right? So pin 1 to 24. A lot of people don't know if this is 25 or this is 25. It's not numbered. You only get 1, 24, 96, and 73. So if you count these pins, it goes 1 to 24. This would be 48. So it goes 1, 24, 25. It goes on this location, right? So it'd be 25, 26, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. So they spliced into 34, right? I mean, it's very tough, right?
Yeah.
And we're supposed to be at pin 39,
39,
right? So we're a couple pins off. So now I have to get 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. So I just open up this cavity. We're gonna go ahead and cut this connector off, plug it back in, just twist the wires just real quick to make sure it works. Put in another pin to our clutch switch. This goes to our clutch switch and the clutch switch, and then go and check our data in the YTech, and then go from there.
And then hopefully we'll get a clutch signal.
So we're not getting a clutch signal. It's asking for it, but we're not getting it. Well, we're not getting it because we're on the wrong pin. So
which makes sense because it was wired for Challenger modules.
Yeah, correct. Yep. So we'll do that and get back to you.
Finishing up this little pin real fast. And hopefully, we need a hopefully counter of how many times I've said hopefully this thing will start on this build, but I believe we are minutes away. Wire is pinned, ECM or ECU is back in. Now we're going to check for clutch switch signal.
All right, where's the key?
In here somewhere, I think center console.
Clutch switch interlock filtered in the PCM. So it's off, right? Press in, clutch off. It should switch, so we still don't see. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna get both of those wires and just
see if 1 and 3 is switched.
Yeah.
Whole lot of trial and error, guys. So a couple wires under the dash going to the clutch switch are a little loose, so he's cleaning that up and making sure they're well connected.
I'm pushing the button. No. What was that?
Oh my God.
Wait. What was that? Let me give it a try. Let me just hold that thought. Hold that thought.
No, we're not holding nothing.
Hold that thought. It's a mess. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Don't worry about any of this.
Here it is. Hold on. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Whoa! Oh my God. Is it killing itself?
Yeah, a little bit. We got some figuring out to do.
That might have something to do with the tune and holy shit, it started.
We have low battery voltage.
Okay.
We have very little battery voltage, but the car started.
Dude.
So here, this is what we got. I'm on the phone with Keith, the guy who reconfigured the BCM. So we've been working and unplugging, plugging, looking at.
It started.
So basically, this is our clutch interlock, right? And one of these wires is going to the PCM, one is going from the RFH. So we pretty much eliminated the clutch switch out of it, put it in neutral. I didn't want to get run over. Yeah, for right now, it did start, but I have very low battery voltage. But we're in the right direction. So at least
it started.
Yeah, it hasn't started in how many months?
It started 5 months.
It's 5 months. So
holy shit.
You got it to run. At least our clutch switch is reading.
So it's showing on and off now when you press in the clutch.
So I need to figure out if that RFH, obviously the RFH that I plugged in is from a Challenger. The one that's on there was a Charger. So Keith, do you know how to reprogram RFH, or we're gonna have to figure something out? I do have the security light. It's that light that's flashing. That's my security light. I was seeing a different VIN, or it's reading a different key code. Okay. So it starts. That's a good thing. And then
it starts.
Yeah.
It starts.
So now we got to figure out how to keep it running. So that's the next step. So it's going to take some time. Hopefully
we're close.
We're closer. Closer, yeah. Than
we got it started.
Yeah. So
huge shout out.
Yeah, Keith. Yeah, Keith over here is on the phone. We're going back and forth. The wiring schematic that comes from this vehicle is showing us different color coming from pin 17. It shows us like violet and yellow, and on this car it's brown and white tracer. It was pinned at pin 34, 32. It's supposed to be at pin 39. Again, wrong color cord, you know. But
is it still showing in? It's still in reverse.
I think it is. I mean, our battery voltage is very low. That's my biggest enemy right now.
Yeah.
Our jumper box. I've been here for a while now. Our jumper box died. We got on a Charger. But it's reading the clutch switch. The clutch switch is being pressed now, even though it's not being pressed. We just jumped the switch. And I got to read whatever codes we got. I got 8.4 volts. These cars really need voltage, or else it just does all sorts of funky.
Yeah, it just freaks out.
Yeah, so all these modules are just got active codes for low battery voltage. If you look here at the RFH, it says ECM mismatch with skim. So that's why it's dying out. So my radio frequency has a mismatch with the skim key code. So that's why it's dying.
Okay.
So now we have to figure out how we could, hopefully my boy Keith knows how to do something with the RFH, to where we can allow that key code to talk to that. Because basically the RFH modules looked exactly the same, but inside the circuit board's changed.
Different.
Yeah, so motherfucker start, so I'm sure you're
wow.
Yeah. So I could smell the E85 you got on here too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's huge, bro. That's very huge. I have low battery voltage.
It won't even crank anymore.
I'm dead.
All right, we gotta figure something out. As you guys heard, it starts now. we have a couple more things to figure out.
Yeah.
So we were trying to use the charger radio frequency.
Yeah, so the radio, the BCM is from the charger.
That we had reprogrammed by Keith.
Shout out Keith. Yeah, shout out Keith. He did that. He's got the engineering software. He's a bad dude. He fucking did it for us. He switched your gear ratios too, by the way. Bad dude.
Yeah, huge shout out to him, because otherwise my speedo would have been all fucked up.
Speedo would have been all fucked up. A bunch of shit he changed in the body control module, which is the gateway. And then we tried to use the charger radio frequency, because we had used the Challenger, but it reads off the VIN, right? So we wouldn't get anything. The pins were off a little bit on the PCM. We fixed that wiring issue. With the radio frequency, we would look at the input coming in from the clutch switch. Although we were pressing it, it would still say that it wasn't being pressed. So we're like, what the fuck? Everything's good. We checked the wiring, everything was good. Yeah. We eliminated the switch and grabbed all 3 pins and just bridged them together. Still no signal. So the radio frequency from the Challenger is still back there, right? They just kind of like Josh's guys kind of plugged it in there, leaving the old RFH. I was telling Keith, I'm on the phone with Keith, I'm like, dude, let me just unplug it and plug in the Challenger one. We plugged it in, and our best friend right now is our laptop. Our laptop is telling us what the computer's seeing, like the PCM, if the clutch is being pressed, if it's not being pressed. And finally, when I put the Challenger one and I just plugged it in, it read clutch press. I'm like, oh fuck, that's what we wanted. We wanted the clutch signal to be the whole time. So once it said press, I'm like, fuck it, let me just push the start button. As soon as we hit the start button, E85, you know what I'm saying?
Old E85, you can smell it. It's like 5 months old E85, but it started for the first time. So basically, we just have to get another Challenger RF hub.
Yeah, so basically the car starts, but it dies. It'll, turn on for 5.
It's sending signals of different numbers.
So so basically it'll start, but as soon as the PCM and BCM it's asking it, hey, what's your pin code? It's giving him the incorrect pin code. He's like, oh, you're incorrect. Boom, let me shut you off.
Right now they're speaking different languages. Yeah. They can't communicate with each other.
Yeah. So what we got going on is now me and Keith are on the phone talking. If I were to program another RFH to this BCM, it wipes all his work out. So we need to unplug the BCM just to get the RFH correct pin to the PCM VIN and pin. Once both of those reads and we program it, you can only program it one time. Once you program a pin, it's garbage, right? So shout out to Chrysler for this warranty part.
For real.
And once we get this module warranted, we'll put a new one, unplug the BCM, program the PCM to the RFH. It's gonna share the same pin code. Plug it in, plug in the BCM. In theory, it should stay running. It should start
right up
and stay running. Yeah. So now it starts, but it doesn't stay running because it's got incorrect pins.
Yeah.
So another step in the right direction.
It fired up. As you guys saw the look on my face of just pure excitement and joy. It started up. So we're trying to figure out these last little bugs, but it started. For everyone that doubted, for everyone that was complaining, oh, it's taking so long, just start it. Like, I wish it fucking worked like that, but it doesn't. But as you can see, it started, so I'm juiced. That's all I needed. All right, so she finally started. long awaited. It's been like 5 months, but once again, huge shout out to these guys, because him and Keith, without them, this would not be getting done, and I would have definitely had to go Holly, and it would have just been a whole nother nightmare. So huge shout out to these guys.
Yeah, it's running. It stays running for a little bit. And it dies out, so at least it runs. We can get it to run. There's a couple security codes from our PCM to our radio frequency. There's 3 modules, right?
Yeah.
Our BCM, our RFH, and our PCM, right? Most of the work on a clutch, the RFH and the PCM are the ones that do the communication. Yeah. And they need to be on the same pace. Unfortunately, the charger one, it doesn't it still reads that it wants to see a clutch input, or it wants to see that the clutch is being pressed. No matter if we're pressing it or we're bypassing it, it still doesn't read it.
It needs it.
And it needs it. So what we did is we had a Challenger radio frequency, right? The one that we try to program it for the manual.
Yeah.
As soon as we plugged it in, now it read, because I bypassed the clutch switch. Now it reads pressed. So I was like, fuck it, let me just see if it starts.
Try a little some.
So now it starts, but it'll run for 10 seconds and then it'll die out.
Shut right off.
Because it doesn't read the same, it has to have the same code. The PCM and the RFH has to have the same pin code.
For them all to communicate.
For all of them, yeah. So
circuit.
We're gonna trick it. So RFH from a Challenger, I'm gonna try to reprogramming it, eliminating the BCM. And then once it reads the same pin code with the RFH, which should start and stay running. So in case Keith is working on trying to see if he could do the RFH.
Do some magic.
Do some magic. Open it up, see circuit boards, and see what the difference is. Because the modules all look alike. Everything is circuit boards and software. HP Tuners doesn't do it. Sorry. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
There's so many people in the comments talking about, I do programming. I blah, blah, blah. I've done this. I do a bunch of chargers. Stop lying in the comments. Unless you can come with proof, don't just comment some bullshit.
Yeah, and Keith from New Jersey, he tunes HP tuners and K-tunes.
Got all the software.
He's got all the software, and he's like, dude, I've tried it, it doesn't happen. He's got CDA, so engineering software, so that's what helped us. The engineering software, switching, BCM,
the real Dodge
turning stuff off, and I've myself asked around Texas, Arizona, multiple tuners, and like, oh, dude, we do PCMs, bro, but we don't do BCMs. I'm like, fuck, square one, and looking around, and thank goodness we found, Keith. And
huge shout out to Keith, because I've talked to I don't know how many different shops, how many different people. They've obviously been asking.
Yeah, and it's crazy because he's the type of person, I'm the type of person that if I can't fix something, it's like not that I can't fix it, I'm gonna figure it out. So I'll be eating dinner at like, it'll be 10 o'clock at night or 11, and then I get a phone call from Keith, hey, I thought about this.
Or I'll call him. What do you think about this?
And I'll call him, I'm like, hey dude, I'm eating dinner, what do you think about this? That's a good point. And then, because if you don't have those type of people or friends, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna go in a rabbit hole that doesn't even matter. Like we were chasing, it's in reverse, and then we were looking at that for a minute, and like, it doesn't matter what gear it's in.
A manual should start in no matter what gear, as long as the clutch is pressed.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's in reverse, first, second, sixth. Long as it's all it's looking for is to the clutch input. Once the clutch is pressed, it should start in any gear. So then we're like, fuck it. Yeah, we don't care about reverse. And then I'm like, you know what? I need to see, test. Luckily, I work at a dealership where I could see Challengers and Chargers all day, and I'm looking at data to see what's asked by the BCM, what's asked by the RFH, to see inputs, outputs. So that helped me out a lot too. So
a ton. Yeah. So that's pretty much going to be the end of this episode, 25 or 26. I forgot, but we'll be back very, very soon for the next episode. As you guys saw, it started, so now we just got to make it drive and stay running.
Hello, good night.
Once again, huge shout out to those guys, but thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share, hit the bell, thumbs up, all that stuff. I'll see you in the next episode. Doses.